Hi Jim, welcome to PTI. It's wonderful to have you here in India, and you've been loved. All your work has been loved. How it's the vibe of Comic Con? What do you want to say?
It's been incredible. Honestly, I have probably done over 200 conventions all over the world. I've been to China and Japan. I've been to Europe. I've been to England. I've been all over the United States for conventions. And of course, I'm from Canada. So I've been all over Canada. And I am not exaggerating when I say that Mumbai Comic Con has been one of the most energizing and exciting shows that I've ever been to. The fans are wonderful. The love that they've shown and the excitement that they have is really blown me away. It's been incredible.
What was your expectation from here? Because it's our very first time, so I'm sure you have your own idea of understanding of how the Indian fans.
Sure. I wasn't sure what to expect. You know, every country is kind of different. Every convention's got its own feel. And so I wasn't sure. You try and go into every experience just kind of leaving yourself open to see what's going to happen. What I didn't anticipate was because there's only a few international guests, like if I'm at a comic show in America, there might be 30, 40, 50 different comic book creators who've worked on superheroes, but I'm the only one who's, pretty much the only one who's doing that here who's not from India. And so I'm getting all that attention. I'm getting all that excitement. And that is an intensity that I was not prepared for in an amazing way. It's been really cool, but it did really take me aback. I was really shocked.
25 years, so many characters. If I have to ask you, which was the most toughest one? So who would you say? I know it must be very difficult for every character, but still.
So you're saying like my favorite one or the most?
Toughest one.
Oh, the toughest one. Oh, toughest to work on. When I was writing Avengers, we had to build a very complicated story with a lot of different characters. And so that was one of the more difficult projects I've ever done. I love, the complexity of what we were able to put together, but you are managing a whole team. It's not just one character. At that point, we had like 18 different characters that we were juggling. And so that's the kind of challenge that it really does test you. You're trying to keep track of everyone's stories. You're trying to make sure everyone has their own big dramatic moments. That's one of the most complicated things I've ever worked on. There are individual characters, like working on Conan the Barbarian, I feel a real pressure because the character is such an icon. He's older than Superman. He's one of the most important literary characters in fantasy. And so you have generations of readers who have grown up reading that character. And if you do a bad job, they will tell you very passionately. And thankfully, I've got a good handle on it now, but that's the kind of pressure that you use to sort of drive yourself to do the best job you can.
And your father gave you the best compliment on that. That is so, I think, beneficial. I heard on stage.
Yeah. It's been, the fan base has been amazing. People have been really excited about the new Conan series. And they feel that what our team is doing, and it is a team, like I am the writer on the series, but it wouldn't work without the artists. It wouldn't work without our editorial team or even the colorist, everyone involved. One of the mistakes that people make, I think, about comics is they think of it like writing a book where there's an author, and it's like I am the writer, but we're a team, and our team is amazing, and that's why the book is turning out as well as it is.
When you started off, what was your ambition back then? And did you achieve everything could stick? Or
I'm not doing any of the things that I thought I would be doing when I was starting out. I wanted to be, when I was younger or when I was going to school after high school, I wanted to be a Disney animator. So I wanted to do hand-drawn Disney animation. And midway through school, Disney stopped making hand-drawn animation. So that dream was just never going to happen. And that was, in some ways, obviously it was a huge blow to my ego because I thought, oh, I'll never get to do the thing I want to do. But it was a good lesson to learn that these are things that are out of your control. And what I really wanted to do is I wanted to tell stories, and I wanted to build things with other people, and I wanted to create the kinds of stories that inspired me, like that kind of feeling I wanted to instill in other people. And that's what I've been able to do, not in the same way that I imagined, but in all sorts of other amazing ways. And so having that kind of reality check where someone said, you are not, it's like saying, I want to be an astronaut. And it's like, bad news, kid, there's no moon anymore. You're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not going to walk on the moon, but let's find somewhere else I can go into space, Yeah.
But still, you find in 25 years so many characters, and you're part of so many people's childhood.
Yeah.
How are you proud of this journey? Because not everybody can be part of everyone's childhood.
No, it's feels really special to not only get to work on things that meant a lot to me growing up, but then characters like whatever Samurai Jack or Rick and Morty more recently that are very, very beloved amongst that fan base, and you can see that passion and that excitement when you get to meet them. So I never try and take that for granted. I don't want anyone to ever, I don't want it to ever feel like, oh yeah, this is just what I do. I know how much it means to me and, growing up on this stuff. And so I'm always trying to think about, okay, when we're making these things, we're trying to put our all into it every single time.
The industry has changed completely with new technologies coming
Mm-hmm.
in. How do you see in 25 years has the industry been?
Obviously, it's a lot more digital. Things are a lot more flexible. The number of artists that I work with internationally has just exploded. We used to have much smaller teams and we used to be a lot more localized. Now I'll work with artists on the other side of the world. And with time zones, you'll have meetings at strange hours because that's when it's the middle of the day for them. When I was doing the Wayward series with Stephen Cummings, he was in Japan. So he would be sending his kids off to school, and I would be getting ready to go to bed, and we would have a quick meeting with each other and talk about the project. And that's the kind of thing that you couldn't have imagined doing when I was starting out in the industry. The internet was there, but it was just email. It wasn't the kind of interconnected technology we've got at our disposal. The ability for me to do my job from anywhere, that I can fly to India. At the airport, I'm waiting for my second flight, and I'm answering messages or double checking a project before it goes off to print. That kind of flexibility just was not possible. And so that has been really, really special and kind of surreal when I think about it.
Now, you also teach the students. So how much it keeps your tap into today's what's going on and
right.
How much it helps you?
Teaching is amazing. It's one of the most inspiring things because it constantly reminds me of the person I used to be when I was a student, the kind of questions that they give me, the kind of interactions that I have. They remind me how special it is at that formative period of their kind of growth. And so I'm constantly getting re-inspired. As much as my job is to teach them, they're always teaching me. They're reminding me of what's really important and the kind of impact that I want to have. And I tell a lot of people, I say, if you are losing kind of focus or if you feel like you're getting bitter about the business, go teach a class, do a workshop, and you'll be reminded how amazing this stuff is because there are so many people out there who are just starting on that journey, and you will remember yourself at the beginning of that same journey.
But how difficult it is to create a new character because there's so many artists out there,
sure.
And they got so much outlets out there where they can express themselves. So how challenging it's become to bring out a new character or something like that?
I think the key there is that you've got to try and find something. A lot of people are making characters, or they think that it's about complexity, but it's actually about simplicity. You're trying to say something simple or true, and that may not be, could be a positive quality, could be a negative quality, but that you find some really, really potent trait to kind of build off of, right? And so if you look at some of the best, most iconic characters, they're not complicated in terms of the core idea. What makes them complicated is building up stories over a longer period of time. But looking for something really true and simple, in some ways it's easy and in other ways it's hard because you're not trying to strip away all the other things and find something like a summary that you can sort of attach to. It's still hard. It's still a challenge. And all the time when we're brainstorming new things, sometimes the characters you think are really going to work don't. And sometimes the ones that seem like throwaway ideas become the next big thing. So you can't really assume the popularity or the success. You just have to keep trying to make things and then hope that some of them attach.
Now the new technology, AI is coming.
Mm-hmm.
How challenging because there's so much debate, discussion going
sure.
on.
What do I think about AI? Well, here's the way I look at it. Tens of thousands of people didn't come to Mumbai Comic-Con to meet a computer. They didn't come here to celebrate content. They are celebrating specific art and specific stories and specific interactions. And they want to meet me, and they want to meet other artists, and they want to meet other storytellers voice actors or musicians or cosplayers, because those are people and those are real things that they have seen and the interactions that they've had. The mistake that companies have made is they think that an audience just wants to waste their time with content, that people want to be just filled up with stuff. And the reality is they don't. What people want is they want to have an experience. They want to feel things. They want to learn things. And they want to know that beneath that, there's some sort of a soul and there's some sort of an idea and an opinion. And AI is regurgitating ideas and it's recycling it in all sorts of ways, but it's not necessarily ever telling you something new. It's just mashing together existing kind of ingredients. And so I don't think that AI alone is your competition. It's a tool, and some people are going to use it well and some people are going to use it poorly. But at the end of the day, you still need a person to make selections and choices and filter and think and build, not just bulldoze material.
It is very, very, very beautifully you articulated everything.
Thank you.
What is the next coming from you and your friends can be 10?
So I'm the flagship writer of Conan the Barbarian, and I've signed a long-term contract on that. So I'm going to be doing Conan stories through 2026. I'm also starting to consult on other Conan-related projects. So other media stuff that might come up, which is really kind of cool and gives me a bit of a different perspective in terms of the character and the depth and the breadth that it has. I'm doing more Dungeons and Dragons projects that'll be announced soon. And then I've got another Marvel comic project that I can't quite reveal yet that should be announced later this summer.
Thank you so much, Evan. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone here in India. You guys have been amazing.